Hi there, it's Billy Tarasio with Modern Law. And today, tip of the day, we are going to talk about the innocent spouse doctrine or innocent spouse protection. Now, you may have heard about this concept, and it is essentially that you should not be responsible for debt that you didn't know about, that your spouse racked up. And most commonly, this is a doctrine that is part of the IRS code or the Internal Revenue Code. So, what is it, and how do you qualify to become an innocent spouse? Well, to be an innocent spouse, you must have filed a joint tax return, and that joint tax return means that you signed it and your spouse signed it. But if there was an extreme underpayment of taxes and you didn't know anything about it and you shouldn't have known anything about it, then you may qualify to request innocent spouse protection. Now, what that would do is it would say that you weren't responsible for paying that portion of the debt, that would go to your spouse, and that he or she would be responsible for the payment of that debt that you didn't know about, that you didn't have anything to do with racking up. And this is a reasonable person standard. So known or should have known. So, for instance, I've had clients before who were co owners of a service business. Let's say it was a carpet and flooring business. It wasn't, but we're just going to pretend it's a carpet and flooring business. And they had a very expensive lifestyle. They traveled to Europe. They had a very beautiful home. And every year they filed taxes together that showed essentially zero revenue. Um, in this case, mom was the bookkeeper or ran the business, and dad did most of the installation and making sure that all of the people were doing what they were supposed to be doing. She would not qualify for innocent spouse protection, and he would not qualify for innocent spouse protection. Both of them should have known, or did know, knew or should have known that they were underreporting and underpaying their taxes each year. Now, let's take another situation. A husband owns a business. He goes to Alaska for long periods of time and is a commercial fisherman. He buys and sells property. It's a separate property state in Alaska, so he's able to buy and sell property without his wife's involvement, and he doesn't pay his taxes. Now, she has a much, much better chance of being an innocent spouse or being deemed an innocent spouse by the IRS. Now, in order to do that, she would need to make sure to raise this claim within 2 years of when the IRS first began their collection efforts. And what would happen is there would be an actual hearing or a sort of a trial, an administrative hearing where you would present evidence to show that you were indeed an innocent spouse, that you didn't know, and that there was no reason you could have known or you should have known. And then if that happens, then the husband in that case would be responsible for all of the debt. Now, how does that translate to family court? Well, there's really nothing called an innocent spouse doctrine in family court, but it is a court of equity. And so the same rules that would apply to protect an innocent spouse for the Internal Revenue Code also apply in family court, even though they're not specifically codified or specifically laid out. So we could use the same analysis to argue in family court that you shouldn't be responsible for paying a certain debt, that your spouse should be responsible for paying all of that debt. If you've got other questions on dividing debt, IRS liens, family court in Arizona, make sure to subscribe and contact us at Modern Law. Thanks. Bye.